Hey, family, peace and blessings. Before I go off to the dream world, I wanted to come to y'all and just share some information. I was talking to a friend of mine last week, and we were talking about the state of what's happening politically. And it really dawned on me that she probably just get her news from like, the shields and the elite, and and that may be where she comes from. Let me just be very honest. That's not where I come from. So as she started to tell me about what she thought, I had to interrupt and be like, sis, that's a lie. I don't know where you getting this information from. Then I had to remind her that what may have been good for her has not always been good for the rest of us. And I think that's where her head perked up. Hold on. Look like something's wrong here. Hold on, y'all. Can y'all see that? You know what? Hold on. I'm just gonna run and get let's remove that from the line. Maybe this way. Oh, okay. It looks like we are still streaming. Okay. So I'm trying to check something, y'all, because I think there's something. There it is. Okay. Oh, okay. I know why I did that. So I'll just do it later. But anyway, I just want to come really quick and give y'all three brothers that I listen to a lot. Here's the first brother, Mr. Dinkins Show. Um, I love this brother. Out of all the three men I'm going to share with you tonight, he is probably the one who is the most fair. He tells the left side, the right side, and then he gives you the bottom line. He also does a lot of researching. So he just don't be out here saying stuff because he get money from the Democrats or Republican. He don't get money from none of them. But he talks about things and he put things in such good perspective that when I listen to him when I'm going to work or going to, wherever I'm traveling to, if I'm not listening to him in the house. And I just love the way he laid things out. And he also busts through a lot of the lies. And I hope that those of us Black folks whose minds are open, that we stop taking people's fear factoring. This time last year, I kept talking with people and they would tell me, if you vote for Donald Trump, this is what's going to happen. And it was so much fear, but it really, they try to use Black people's emotions to be like, this is going to be like slavery, which none of us really ever lived under slavery. Most of us have lived under the new system that they came up with. And it's not necessarily the system you think it is. Let me just say that. And so, what they were really fighting for was to keep their rights, because when they have rights, it don't mean rights for us. When you help immigrants, you don't help Black people. When you help other people have gender affirming care and all that kind of stuff, it doesn't help Black people. So I don't know, like, and I'm not saying you don't have to be concerned with them. I'm just saying they're not concerned with you, because we should have been have rights. All these people came and got in the head of the line, and we're still here struggling with that. So if you want to listen to a brother who is intelligent, who's smart, who basically lays stuff down when he talks. Like, he's very intelligent when he talks, and he makes a lot of sense when he talks. So if you want to hear some Black folks talking with some sense, tune in to this brother. That's the first brother. So let me get you to the next dude. Let me move him real quick. It's me, y'all. Okay, so then the next dude I listened to. Now, this is Brother Wise. And I like Brother Wise. I think that he is very let me stop sharing that so I can get to the next video. This next brother, I like him a lot. I think he makes a lot of good points. He was one of the first Black men who that was probably conservative leaning, obviously, right? But he also makes a lot of sense when he talks. I think we are not used to hearing Black men who are conservative, who are not totally off the chain, licking people's butts. Like, no, he just kind of gives it to you. Then he also brings the information from other Black people and how they're feeling. He doesn't sugarcoat what he's hearing. So here's all his stuff. He shows that other side of black folks and what they may be feeling. His name is Wise, but the name of the show is called A Righteous Perspective. This brother is on the ball. I love his content, and I like that he's not afraid to share his views and what he thinks and how he feels. I love the fact that he's not afraid to share that. I watch a lot of his content every day. Like, he makes several videos and he stays on the topics that are really happening. Like, I didn't know that Donald Trump is trying to do something with that FICA. Well, we know that's held a lot of people back from being able to purchase stuff and get loans and things like that. But those who are getting fed by this conservative side, I mean, by the left side, they don't want that to go away because then their base may go away. They can go get their own loans and not have to rely on them. So it's just really good to hear, to me, to hear a black man speaking his truth or how he feel and sharing it and having receipts. That's another thing. All these brothers got receipts. So this is a righteous perspective. And the brother who hosts this, his name is Wise. Then the last one I'm gonna share with y'all. I like this brother. This brother lives in Uganda, but he's really from Sacramento. His name is Oshay Duke Jackson. Love, love, love his stuff. So what he does that I love is that he talks about different issues and he gives you all of the different sides to the issues. And that's not something we see people doing a lot of. People usually be on one political side. They don't care if it don't make no sense. This dude gives you the pros and cons. One time I watched the video, because I watched a lot of his videos too. He talked about the diaspora wars and he was talking about things in that diaspora war that I thought about, but I didn't hear anybody talk about. So he was basically talking about how how they feel some Africans from the continent see Black Americans, but then he also talked about the colorism part of Black Americans and how they think no dark skinned people not here in the U.S. that look like. I mean, it's just crazy. But he had really good angles. He also lives in Africa, and he also comes back here. So he has lots of really good perspectives. So if you want a real balanced voice, you need to check out O'Shea Jackson. Here, there, I gave you all their pages. You need to really be subscribing to these brothers because they have really, really, really good information. And I just feel like it is time for us to really to hear these other perspectives and quit acting like all black people is with the shits because we're not. Some of us know that the job that our president is doing really is going to help those black people who are struggling, who are not in political parties, who are basically doing the groundwork on the floor, who's been suffering as we do our work. And we watch other groups who just got here, live way better than us, and we built the country and we've been here since slavery. Um, it's just crazy. I think for me, when I hear these brothers talk, they really help me to, they really help me to understand that we've been hoodwinked, y'all. And the more I think about people who I've talked to and were friends, and they were, say with the Democrat Party, it's funny to hear people tell you this will be good for you, but they ain't never lived like us, And I think that's some of the things we really need to look at as a people. We need to know what's going on. Like for instance, and I'm gonna do this one, and then I'm gonna get out of here because I'm tired and it's late. Um, I want to share this with y'all. I'm gonna kind of run through this kind of quick. I have really been keeping up with stuff. I got all kind of stuff back there. I've really been keeping up with stuff. So let's see. Like for instance, let me go back up here to the top. So don't let people attempt to tell you what the president have done since he been in there and what's good for you, what's not for you. The Democrats are the worst people who do that because they were the ones who did not help us when the crack era was blazing. They the one was locking up everybody. So I don't know how we're gonna act like they got our best interests in mind. When they talk about the increasing federal enforcement presence in DC, I hear people go right into almost defending behaviors instead of making sure we're on point in our communities. Like You know, I wish sometimes people can line up some of these crimes that we see are being committed in the community by people who look like you. We skip over that. We act like those people's lives were not important. We'll say, oh, that was domestic violence, or this dude had mental health issues. But when people are dead, baby, they dead. You don't get to sweep it away because it may mess up the talking points you have for you and your uh, uh, people that y'all make money off of the backs of people not knowing any better. At least that's what you think. So these are the list of all of the things that Donald Trump has done on foreign policy, on legal and judicial matters. Man, I mean, he just done a lot. His significant news, deportation efforts, his controversies, personnel changes, economic issues. Like, I would tell y'all to please go research and look up things for yourself. Do not take anything that the people on the left say as fact. Now, one of the things I do know in some of my community, we think we really know how Republicans are. Most of us don't even know no Republicans, to be honest with you. And that's when you should be asking yourself. That's when you should be like, wait a minute, I don't even know these people. I do know the track record of the Democrats. I do know that they let all these people into the country because they're trying to sidestep black people. I do know that just like in slavery could not have existed without black people participating and co-conspiring with the slave master. We definitely have that in the Democratic Party. Ain't enough black people in the Republican Party to do no shit like that. So I'm saying be very wise. Don't let people scare you about a reality they claim that we're going to have. Don't let them do that to you. That's the best thing I could tell you. Do not let them do that to you. Just don't let them do that to you. That's the best thing that I could say to you. And I'm always telling black folks that don't let these people act like, if we have this in there, this is gonna happen. If we don't let them do that to you. Just don't. Then they got this fact check sheet. Let's see what this is. Um, Most of the stuff we know. I do know that July 2025, the administration successfully negotiated a resolution with the University of Penn to keep men out of women's sports and restore trophies and records to women. I think that's great. Nobody really asks women it's okay for men who think now they're women. Nobody asks women that. Nobody asks us that. And so to assume because you want your son to do whatever. I don't understand why they can't have their own category and all the transgender people run against each other. I don't know why they couldn't do that, but just to act like it's okay with women to do that, this is crazy. You know, I also hear people complaining about another thing he did in July was a settlement with Columbia University and Brown University that includes agreements that the university will provide access to all relevant data and information to rigorous access compliance with their commitment to merit-based hiring and admissions. To have black people think that this is going to affect their job is bullshit. We are less than 3% of that DEI. Black folks. Now, other people may be fighting because, maybe they've been using the benefit, but black folks, we haven't really got no benefit. We really haven't. So anyway, I just feel like y'all look this stuff up for yourself. There's information everywhere. You know, this is one of the fact sheets, but there's also other sites you can go to that doesn't belong to the White House, that doesn't belong to the Republican Party or the people on the right? But don't get your stuff from the people on the left because they lie and they do not have your interests at heart. That's the best thing they do not have your interests at heart, black folks. Don't let these people attempt to tell you that they have your interests at heart because they don't. They don't have your interests at heart. And I just think that we got to stop letting people act like they knew what it was like for us during this time because they went to school and they read some books, and they didn't talk to the people who lived the era. Most people don't talk to their grandmom, don't talk to their grandpa, never ask them what was really holding them back. And I'm pretty sure some of them won't tell you the answer that you think you're going to get. So I think people have just kind of profited off of our history in this country in terms of what have happened to us with the black codes, and how 60 black towns were burned to the ground, and us not being able to have certain jobs, or all the things we went through, right? But even the others, even the left side, they don't want us to really be empowered. They just want us to be the footstool until they can get that next group of people in here, which is all the immigrants. And I also think we need to go to people's countries and see how they treat people who look like you and I in their country, so we could quit thinking that they're going to be on our side when everywhere in the world, black people are at the bottom. Black people get treated the worst. I mean, come on, you know. And my final thought is black folks, you got to deal with your colorism, because you can't be complaining about no other group and you practicing your own version of supremacy, if you will. Colorism is definitely alive and well in Black American culture. So that's all I want to say, y'all. Again, check out these three brothers. I have to always delete this just to pull up the next dude. So let me just do that. Let me get one more time and share these brothers one more time. I would say, oh, there we go. The first brother that I wanted to share. Here we go. The Mr. Darkins show. This brother is the best. I love everything he has to say, and he's very fair and very balanced. He presents all sides. So check this brother's show out. Um, Here we got him. The next dude we got to check out is A Righteous Perspective. This brother Wise. This brother is more on the conservative side, but I like how he presents his information. He comes with receipts, and he also shows what black people are thinking, their perspective too. So it's nice to hear a black conservative voice that I agree with most of the time. And I'm not necessarily conservative, but I think we do need to hear what black people really think, not the stuff we have to say to be politically correct, because people think every black person's a Democrat and we go to church and we eat watermelon or some shit like that. No, every black person is not trying to be in the so-called middle class. We like to be comfortable and be okay, but nobody's doing classism warfare against other black people. I don't subscribe to that. So, a righteous perspective. And then the last person I'm gonna share with you is Brother Oshay Jackson. He's a really good dude. He's really originally from Sacramento, I learned, but he now lives in Uganda. I love the way he breaks down stories. He really gives you different perspectives. And so, all I'm saying, I think you need to tune in this brother because he really is really good. So, those are three people that I share with you. The uh, Devon Darkins, A Righteous Perspective, and Brother Osei Jackson. Those are three people who are just really, really, really good on their commentary and what they choose to share. And I really, really like these dudes. They give really good information. And I feel like not all black people, because we're not all in the same category, but I will say we gotta be more um, diligent in listening to all the information. Don't let people emotionally drag you to some stuff. Like when they say that people, I was called a racist before, and all I've ever did was help my own people. And even when other groups would come to my events, they were welcome. I didn't say they couldn't come in, but I was up against a Hispanic brother who had no experience, and the unions backed him, the teachers union. So, so even though I got 41% of the vote, he got 58. This man had $200,000 backing him up, and I had barely $10,000. So what I've learned through that whole thing is that I ain't messing with the damn Democrats. I'm gonna vote the best person. So if you're a Democrat and you're the best person for the job, that I need you to do to be for my welfare benefit, That's how I voted, you know. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I think black politicians are a joke. I would never vote for a black politician if I could help it. When they can't claim you out loud because they may offend other people, then don't vote for them. You know, um, and I also think most of them don't have black people. They don't think we have an ask. They think that they are it for us, and it's like, no, you're not it for us. You're you, right? So anyway, family, I just want to come tonight and share that with y'all. Three brothers who have really good information. They have stuff every day, a righteous perspective. Let me see if I can put this up on the banner or something. Maybe too much stuff. But I really, really like these dudes. I think that they are the bomb. Um, yeah, I think I got this right here. Let me see if I can show this to y'all so y'all can see right down at the bottom. So the update, check out these brothers, DeVoy, Darkins, and then the next show is A Righteous Perspective. And then the last one is Oshay Duke Jackson. This is alternative black voices. These brothers give great information. They come with receipts. They do a lot of research. And so, black folks, stop going off of your emotions. This shit is pathetic. Okay? Because y'all don't really do history. Y'all really don't read. So, these brothers come with receipts. And then you can always look stuff up, right? So, I think we got to be a little bit more, diligent when we take people's word for stuff, right? Um, I also think in the black world, we have lots of different black people in America. So what I feel like is that we have the upper echelons and they don't really share with nobody, especially if you're not pushing their agenda, which is to keep you poor. Then we have the so-called middle class who sometimes half of them are fighting to be with the upper middle class and making sure their families is taken care of and don't give a damn about where they came from. The other group is, they still have their foot in the world that they came from where they struggled, but they also don't want to rock the boat because they really don't have any power. You get me? The most powerful part of the so-called Black American community are those who are really struggling and those who are kind of at the bottom. I hate to say it because with your one vote, you could shut the other two groups down. They wouldn't have a leg to stand on. And I think that's what happened during the last election is that they pulled out every rich, so-called successful black influencer that don't build anything for black people, and nobody listened to them. They didn't. It wasn't enough of us to be like, yeah. I think people have been around long enough to know that this shit is exhausting, it's tiring. Don't nobody want to hear that shit. Y'all haven't built us any schools, any supermarkets, anything. You haven't figured out why are we still asking for affordable housing when black folks should have, when they passed that bill here in California with illegal immigrants and immigrants too, where they can have money to buy a house. Like, how did you do that for that group, but you couldn't do it for the black group? And then it's this thing we talk about reparations, and that's cool, but don't nobody want to go to school on reparations. Don't nobody want to do that. If you're not talking cash and land, don't even talk to us about reparations because it just don't make no damn sense. Like, why would you want to talk to me about reparations? And you can go to school. No, nobody want to go to school because we know partly that's a scam. If you want to say, hey, we're going to give you $100,000 a year for 5 generations a year, that sounds like reparations. Because we know y'all got the money because you have money for Ukraine, you have money for all the immigrants that came to the US. They live in nice parts of the city. They're not out here homeless. The homeless population in America are black, are at least in Sacramento, 40% are black women with children. I know that as a fact. But I also know we make up a big part of that number because nobody can afford this high ass rent. But immigrants can come here and they can afford it. You know, you run their food stamp card, they got $5,200 of food stamps. I'm like, well, that we have never gotten $5,200 of food stamps, even if he was on food. I mean, it's just crazy. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just saying, if you have money for those people, why don't you have money for American citizens? Why is it that in school they have English as a second language? All the immigrants have that. And black kids, some of us really still struggle with English. Why we don't have that in our class? So when you look at some of the stuff that Donald Trump is doing, cutting out, making English the official language of America, we should be shutting the hell up. Because no one ever tried to make sure that we could have English as a second language or Spanish as a second language since we were trying to bridge the gap. But then nobody trying to bridge no gap for black people. In a way, they're trying to banish you and erase you. And some black people are gonna be right there doing it, like Miss Karen Bass. So all you skin folks ain't your kin folks. You know, some of these people are tethers. I hate to use the term, but it's real. Ain't no term I made up. That's a real goddamn term. So anyway, family, I just wanted to come and give y'all the information. Please check out these three brothers podcasts and hit their subscribe and like button. I really love these brothers. They give me great information, and sometimes I do look up the stuff that they say. I do, but I also know when I hear some of the stuff that the president is doing, they be up on it. They be explaining it, and not from a standpoint of I'm a Democrat, so I can't say good job, president, if he do something that's good. That's what get me with the other group. They don't even want to say, well, this man do a good job. It's like you're not really speaking for us, dude. You're speaking for your bougie, middle class, higher educated self and kind. You're not speaking for the people when we know those credit scores is not working well for all of us. You know a lot of black people that are, struggling. They don't necessarily come from two income families. And if they do, it's really them making those two incomes, which means our health is on the line when we do that. So it's a lot of things. I would love to have a conversation to talk about what's really going on right now with us, and what are some ways we could help people lay those burdens down so they can have better, effective communities. Would love to do that. But we don't want to talk about that because that would put some of us out of business. We won't have a job. So, all right, family, that's it for me tonight. Check out these three brothers, the DeVoy Dinkins show, A Righteous Perspective, and O'Shea Duke Jackson. Those are three alternative black voices who give you good information. They come with receipts. All right, family, I'm tired. I got to go to bed. I got to get up really early in the morning. I shall hollers.